Good morning, friends. This is Paul. I pray your day is filled with peace and joy. This was a hard blog for me to write. I started 3 times, and each time was not what Jesus wanted me to talk to you about. Here on the farm, there are so many situations that remind me of Jesus talking with his disciples. Yesterday, I was pulling weeds in the garden. Oh, joy. When I pulled on a rather cantankerous weed, it snapped right off of the ground. I stopped, pondered for a moment. No one but me knows where there is a weed there. All the green leaves and stems above the ground are out of sight. I started to move on when Jesus decided to have a conversation with me. He said, "You're absolutely right, Mike. No one can see that there is a weed in the ground. But the most dangerous part of the weed is the root." I thought, okay, Jesus, I know where this is going. If the root of the plant remains, it will return to the surface and will be stronger and harder to pull. Jesus said, "So you know weeds. What about sins? Sins, like weeds, always return unless you cut off the root." As I opened my pocket knife and dug out the root, Jesus said, "That's right. The word of the Spirit with discipline will get out every root of our sin." That was a very practical and spiritual experience that made the Word of God real, and it reminded me of Hebrews 4:12. It says, "For the Word of God is quick, powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul and the spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." I thought, that's my subject, but not yet. While looking for my baby beagle, who I thought had gone exploring below the caprock, I came across a lone mother cow that was a long way from the rest of the herd. She was certainly on a mission, and as I watched, she was wandering further and further away. She would occasionally stop, listen for something, and then keep going. In the wind, she heard nothing, but still determined she would change course and wander on. I was there with 3 other family members, and we noticed that her milk bottles for the city people were very full, that she had recently had a calf. We drove while she wandered further and further until she spotted what she was looking for, a newborn brown baby calf. It lay perfectly still until it saw Mama. Then it sprang up on its wobbly legs to reunite with her. We carried the baby calf to the shade next to a water trough. The Lord spoke to my heart again. "All of you are like sheep that have gone astray, Mike. But God has laid on Jesus the burden to bring you back to your daddy." God is profound in his teaching of the word. Well, now 2 great examples of Jesus living truth in your daily life. That's my blog. I thought, "No," said Jesus. "There's one more thing I want to tell my people. It's time to build your ark as an individual, then a family. Continue with your church per tribe. The flood of economic disaster is really upon you. Your government will not stop what it's doing because it cannot. It is going to be nothing like you've read about or imagined." Jesus called at a time of Joseph's troubles. We have 7 years of opulent, indifferent, indulgent, and we've rejected the natural consequences. It's time to pay the piper. I am not saying this to scare you. Real faith does not need fear to motivate it. What if I am saying does not speak to your heart, then walk away. I will gain nothing from my warning you except Jesus' approval for being a faithful watchman on the wall. Your money will not save you. Every day we see the demon of inflation eating away our money and our security, and that's our God. Look around. Even the heathens are scared. Their knees smote together, for they know the things that are coming are unavoidable, as described in Luke 26. It says, "Men's heart failing them for fear, for the looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven," that means everything that is in power and authority, "will be shaken." I will gladly share with you the things you need to build your ark, if you ask. Again, I sell nothing, want nothing, and I need nothing from you. We're all in the same boat, so to speak. I love you in the Lord, and I can even pray for you. If you want me to, let me know. I said, "Jesus, why did I write this about the weeds and the cow?" He laughed and said, "It helps people know that you're not a kook." Okay, bye.
Hi, this is Michaela. I'm here to interview Paul today about his blog that we all got to hear. Paul, I really appreciate that blog because it brings a real, very applicable sense of what we read in the Bible when we're able to see it through the stories of like what our plants do or what our animals do. And for me, I find that really beneficial because like you look at that mama cow and her baby, and that, of course, that's us. God, I need you. God's like, I'm looking for you. God, I need you. My question is, how do you get to the point in your relationship with God that you're able to see those things in your everyday life instead of just overlooking them?
Well, I think there's an expression that says you look at things or you look for things. If you look at things, you don't see what's there. It's like when you go to the garden and you stand outside the garden, it's all green and it looks all the same. But you go into the garden and you walk down the row and you look at, maybe go for the okra, which you pick so well. And you go, wow, there's okra there. Look at all the okra that you couldn't see at a distance. So you're looking for something. What is the something you're looking for? You're looking for Jesus to talk to you. Because he wants to. Because he is a conversationalist. He's a good guy. He talked to his disciples going up and down. He talked to everybody at their level. So don't look at it, look for it. And if you look for it, you'll hear it, you'll find it. It's that still small voice that says, hey, Michaela, what about that? Because you know it's not you. So then you go, okay, what is this, God?
Right, because I can think of times that I'd be doing goats, and there's this one story in particular where I had a mama goat that needed to have her bags milked down or else she was going to end up getting sick from it, and I'd never milked it before, and by happen's chance my Uncle Bear and I had been talking, and he said, well, when you do it just like this, and he showed me, and I was like, that makes no sense, whatever. And I got out there and nobody else was there to do it but me, and I said, God, I need you to bring it to my remembrance because I don't know what on earth I'm doing. And that was the very first time I was able to milk a goat. So I think you're right about God being that person who's like constantly there, and he plants those seeds like you do in the garden to have things come back to you. When you talk about the root of sin, my question is how do you find that root for the sin? Because for me, I know the sin is there, but I don't know.
There's two concepts of sin, and we talk about that in terms of a plant. You've got the root and you've got the fruit. Okay, and maybe you got the root, the stem, and the fruit. Let's go that way. I'll be a great botanist. What happens is, what sometimes we see is we want to pick the fruit off. Okay, the fruit is the obvious behavior. I get mad and I blow up.
Right.
I have a lie. I lie all of a sudden. Let's take that. And I say, okay, God, I'm going to quit lying. Okay, guess what? Like the fruit of the plant, if that's all you do, it comes back.
Right.
Because you haven't asked yourself, why do I lie?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I lie? Because maybe I'm afraid. Okay, let's go down the stem. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what? I'm afraid of either punishment, or I'm afraid, mostly go down a little deeper, I'm afraid of rejection. I lie to make myself acceptable to people.
Right.
Maybe even sometimes acceptable to myself. When I find out my acceptance is not from people, but it is from the Lord who already accepted me, and then I say, Lord, I don't need acceptance, i.e. I cut the root and the whole weed dies.
Right, so it's just finding that why behind what's going on.
Most of the time that why is because of insecurity, inferiority, and feeling a sense of unloved.
That makes sense. Another thing for me is I can definitely relate to coming to God and being like, God, I got it figured out. That's what you want. I know what you want, God. And then it's not what he wants. And then it's okay, I got it this time. And then that's not what he wants. My question is, because I'm so young, I have billions of like great ideas like, God, this is you. But how do you sort through the things that are the not right nows, like, no, this is part of the idea, not the whole idea, and the things that are like, totally, no, Michaela, sit down. That idea, sit down. How do you sort through that?
Mac, you're a great cook, and you're learning to be even better with Nana's help and your mom's help. She's a great cook, too. You know that cooking is a process. In other words, from what limited I know, you put eggs in cake, right? Make a cake. So let's grab an egg and put an egg over here, take the butter, take the sugar, take the flour, mix it all up and whatever else in there, and then cook all that. And when it's done, we'll pour the egg over the top of it because it's just ingredients, right?
Right.
Would that make a good cake?
No, it would make a terrible cake.
Horrible cake. An egg cake. So you know that everything is in a process of developing. And you say, this is a good idea. If you feel this is a good idea, and then you say, God, show me where this idea goes. Mm-hmm. Tell me when it fits. Tell me when it's time to put the egg in there and I beat it up. Okay? So when you do that, you'll find that God will take your ideas and He will use them to make a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience in life. Yeah. Wait upon the Lord, shall renew your strength. Shall rise up, mount up his wings as eagles. Run and not be weary. Bake and not fail. Well, kind of.
Thanks, Paul. That really makes sense. I appreciate everything that you do for our family.
Great. Thank you, and I appreciate who you are and what you are being. Bye.